Hello and welcome back to Leaders of Tomorrow, India's only daily television platform exclusively for small businesses. Next on the episode, my colleague Sunanda Jayaseelan caught up with Prashant Warrior, the founder and CEO of Cure.ai, a startup that's re-engineering its artificial intelligence solution suite towards COVID-19 contact tracing and monitoring patient progress. Have a look.
Prashant, while we've had you previously on the show, I do want to take a moment for you to talk to our viewers about Cure.ai and what it is you do.
Cure.ai is a AI in healthcare organization. So we have built out technology which uses AI to interpret radiology images, so things such as X-rays, CT scans, MRIs, and so on. And we provide these services around the world. I mean, as of today, we're live in about 25 plus countries. And we process somewhere in the range of 5,000, 10,000 scans on a daily basis.
Do you think that India is using enough technology when it comes to the healthcare space? Do you perhaps, sitting where we are and doing some sort of crystal ball gazing, if I can call it that, do you think where are the opportunities that's as you see it when it comes to marrying technology and healthcare going forward?
So I think India has phenomenal opportunities, right? I mean, India is such a vast country with the number of doctors, number of radiologists. The healthcare resources that we have in the country are limited. So this is a country where, I mean, health technology can actually bring healthcare to the masses, right? So for example, what we do is in the past, and we're doing it, we have done a lot of work around tuberculosis screening. So we operate in parts of the country where there are no radiologists to interpret chest X-rays, and chest X-ray is going to be is the primary modality to interpret tuberculosis. And so you take these X-rays, but there is nobody to interpret those X-rays. And using AI, we are interpreting those X-rays. So if you have the technology, you can bring healthcare to the most rural parts of the country, the parts of the country where there is no actual organized healthcare. Even like if you look at slums of Mumbai, let's say Dharavi and so on, you can bring healthcare to every individual there. So I think India, as a whole, there is an enormous opportunity to bring healthcare technology to the masses, and it is happening. I think I also see that lots of adoption, at least for our solutions, we have seen a lot of adoption in India over the last couple of years that we have been commercializing the solutions in this region.
You're raising a very important point, and that's as far as using technology in the primary care market or industry, if I can call it that, in the country. A lot of countries may be talking about AI and future tech when it comes to secondary healthcare, for instance. But in India, primary healthcare problems are yet to be solved. What are the challenges, though, if you can talk to entrepreneurs who are watching this interview about using technology when it comes to the primary care sector in the country, or even just healthcare in the country? We're talking broadband issues, we're talking the lack of specialists, etc. But one or two things that you wish you'd perhaps known before you started out here that you do now know, you want to use that experience to really talk to our entrepreneurs on that?
So I think, for us, I'll talk about my experience. For us, I think some of the challenges that we have seen around the work that we have done is, one is that, lack of great internet connectivity, right? So when you talk about telemedicine, when you talk about teleradiology or AI, you are basically, taking data from a patient in a rural location and pushing it to the cloud for processing or being seen by a doctor or so on, right? Everything. It is all finally, you need to have internet connectivity at the ground level, at that, with the patient who is in a rural location. That is not there everywhere. I think we are seeing in several places that there is a lack of connectivity. For us, when we process these X-rays, there is not enough connectivity to upload an X-ray. An X-ray is about 16 to 20 MB in size, and to upload that sometimes takes you 5-6 minutes. That becomes a bottleneck for us. So I think that's what we have seen. One. Second is that when we talk about X-rays, we also see that a lot of places you don't have digital X-rays. So typically, to process using AI, you need access to digital X-rays, but a lot of places there are no digital X-rays. So what we built is, we built a technology where you can have an app and you can basically take a picture using your mobile phone of the X-ray, and that can be processed by our algorithm. So as simple as put the X-ray on a white screen, take a picture, and we'll process it. So that is actually now scaling up very quickly because lots of parts, I mean, lots of places in UP, Bihar, where they don't have digital X-ray machines. There are analog X-ray machines which produce the film, right? And we are able to process that now.
I noticed you haven't talked about liquidity. A lot of entrepreneurs who've been speaking to us are talking about the very real threat of perhaps staring at bankruptcies going forward. What do you think is the solution really to that? To prevent, while there's enough money in the banks, they're perhaps not lending as much as they should be. How do you think that's going to get fixed? Is that a real concern for you in the healthcare space?
I mean, healthcare, it is always a concern because building a business in healthcare it's not a short-term thing, right? It's a long-term process because, I mean, there are regulations around the world. I mean, when we try to commercialize our solutions, US, you require an FDA approval. In the US, you require a CE certification. And that is for every product that we develop, every capability that we develop within that product. And that requires a lot of investment. So it's not like you build a product and you start commercializing immediately. There is, I mean, a lot of work involved in getting that regulatory clearance. And for healthcare companies, that period from development to commercialization is something like 3 to 5 years. And so definitely you need capital to sustain. Fortunately for Cure, I mean, we raised a funding round about a month before the nation went into lockdown. So we were fortunate to raise that round, and that round came from Sequoia Capital and Mass Mutual Ventures, Singapore. And so fortunately, we have that cash in the bank. But I can definitely say that, I mean, without that cash in the bank, we would be struggling. I mean, we need to figure out how to, I mean, fund the next several months of the business. And I think, I mean, even with cash in the bank, we have to be very prudent about how we spend. I mean, as an organization, we have to, I mean, this is a period where startups should be prudent about, I mean, this is not the aggressive growth period. I mean, while all startups aim to grow very, very rapidly, I think this next 6 months is a period where they should just wait and watch and make sure that they can sustain for the next couple of years. But that said, I mean, we are also seeing a huge amount of opportunity in the COVID-19 space. I mean, we are a healthcare technology company, so we are in the right space. And we have products which can cater to COVID-19 patients, tracking their progression, triaging them, and many other AI chatbots. So we have many products which cater to COVID-19 specifically, and so we're also seeing a lot of traction around those products at this point.
Speaking of which, Prashant, I do know that you're using AI and you are using future technologies when it comes to innovation around the entire coronavirus situation. Can you just run us through what you're doing?
So we are doing, I would say, 3 broad things, right? One is that we have a chest X-ray solution which can automatically interpret a chest X-ray, and it can detect various different. It can say whether a chest X-ray is normal or abnormal. If it's abnormal, it can detect various different abnormalities on the chest X-ray. And what we are doing is we are saying that, okay, this chest X-ray, if it is abnormal, what kind of abnormalities are present? And we look for COVID-19 coronavirus kind of abnormalities, which are bilateral opacities, looking for a peripheral distribution, and looking at the size of that abnormality. And based upon that, we can actually characterize chest X-ray as high, medium, or low risk for COVID-19, or also there is no risk for, I mean, we can basically say high, medium, low, or no risk for COVID-19, right? So that's something we are doing on the chest X-ray, and how that is being used in 2 ways. I mean, one is that you can triage people. So there is a lack of testing around the world. I mean, not just in India. We are now, this coronavirus product that we have is now being used in about 7 countries. And so there is a lack of testing around the world. And what people are doing is they are basically screening the patients or triaging the patient using an X-ray to figure out people who have a abnormality on the X-ray. And those people then go ahead and get a PCR test. So not everybody gets a PCR test. You're looking for abnormalities in the X-ray. And that is important because people who have abnormalities on the X-ray are most likely to require hospitalization or intubation in the future. Right? So that's one. A second thing that you're doing is a lot of, I mean, we have seen this in Mumbai. We do some work with the Bombay Municipal Corporation, the Mumbai Municipal Corporation, and we've seen that a lot of patients who are tested are actually asymptomatic patients, so they have no symptoms. Right? And the question is, should we spend that much testing on those kinds of patients, or should we actually cater to patients who are actually sick, who have abnormalities on the lung? And so one way to think about that is to triage these asymptomatics using a chest X-ray. So if you take a chest X-ray of these asymptomatics, you might find about 10 to 15% might have an abnormality on the chest. So these are patients who are absolutely normal. I mean, they have no cough, no cold, no fever, headache, nothing. I mean, none of those symptoms, right? And they come in and if you take their chest X-ray, they've got abnormalities in the lung. And out of those, what we found is that about 85% have COVID-19. So testing asymptomatics or triaging asymptomatics using a chest X-ray is another protocol that we are following around the world. A third use case is around progression monitoring. So using the algorithm, our algorithm can accurately identify the part of the lungs which are affected and precisely quantify the infected region in both lungs, in both left and right lung. And so we can then use that to measure how a patient is progressing through treatment or as they are admitted in the hospital, right? And through that, now you can figure out whether you should change the therapy of the patient, what kind of therapy should be given to that patient, whether that patient is likely to require intubation or require being admitted into the ICU. So many kind of therapeutic decisions for that patient can be made based upon the amount of lung that is infected. So we are doing that. And lastly, we have a chatbot, an AI chatbot called Scout, which is being used. I mean, it is currently being used as part of the Oman's national app. It is like the Arogya Setu of Oman called Karasut Plus. And what that is doing is it is basically an AI chatbot which can interact with all these patients who are quarantined at home. Imagine an elderly individual, not a patient, who's quarantined at home, and they are developing symptoms. And so this chatbot will chat with them, like, let's say, 2 to 3 times a day, collecting their symptoms, collecting their risk groups and so on, making sure that if anything becomes worse, right, if the symptoms, let's say the fever went from 99 to 100, then you are taking adequate action. So the government is actually monitoring all the people who are self-isolated using this technology so that you can triage who needs to come into the hospital for further testing or who needs to be hospitalized because their condition is getting worse. So that's called Q-Scout. That is a separate solution that we developed about a month ago.
Okay, Prashant, good having you here on the Leaders of Tomorrow.
Thank you, Sunanda.
Well, that's a wrap on this episode of Leaders of Tomorrow, India's only daily television platform exclusively for entrepreneurs. Thanks for watching.